Hello, my name is Dr. Ann Friedman. I'm a psychologist and certified mindfulness facilitator, and I have been teaching mindfulness meditation at Emanu for over 6 years now. Welcome to those of you who are new. I hope you'll find this an exciting experience. And to my many friends who have been meditating with me over the last 6 years, may your new year be well. So Yom Kippur is probably my favorite day of the year. While I love hanging out with my husband, family, friends, hiking in nature, so many wonderful things we can do in this life, traveling, I love the inward journey, and that's what Yom Kippur is all about, and that's what meditation's all about. It is the call of Abraham to Lech Lecha, go within to the inner landscape, the land within, and to let go of those preconceived notions that we have learned from our society, our upbringing, our experiences, and to experience this journey fresh and new with new eyes, to see what is true for us, to connect with our deepest selves, and to be authentic in this world, who we are called to be. So when we practice, we do it with relaxed bodies and alert minds. It is good to have your feet on the floor or grounded in some way. You can be sitting on a cushion if you want. Just feel grounded. Hands in your lap, back upright so the breath flows freely, and your eyes closed or gazing downwards softly. I will guide today's meditation. For those of you who are new, we are training the muscle of attention. Just like when we go to a gym, we want to develop a muscle. We get a weight and do repetitions, right? And over time, we develop a muscle. It doesn't happen immediately. It's the same way with mindfulness meditation. What we know is that the mind drifts off. About half the time your mind is drifting, according to research from Harvard University in 2010. And we are noticing and returning it. Up, there it goes again. Noticing thinking's happening and returning it to this moment. And we always are returning it to the body or what we're visualizing if we're working on a situation in our lives. What we know through science is that when we return the mind, it is literally building gray matter and more connections in your brain in 8 key areas. Those areas include self-awareness, impulse control and judgment, memory, and others that are very, very important and newer parts of the brain. It also helps calm our limbic systems, which is usually what activates, or it is what activates when we're feeling upset. So these are ways to calm the brain. And science has seen that very clearly. This is not a bunch of woo-woo. It is based in science. And while it originally emerged from the secular mind-body practices of Buddhism, when I teach, I show how it is related to teachings in Judaism. very, very strongly. You can find it in our religion as well. So I'm thrilled to share this with you today. And I invite you now on the journey within, closing your eyes or gazing downward, whatever's comfortable for you, but minimizing distractions. We're going to start with some long, slow, deep breaths all the way down to the belly and out to engage our system of rest and digest. I'd invite you to breathe in through the nose for the count of 3, hold for 2, and out of the mouth for the count of 5. I will count us. Ready? Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And breathing naturally now, in and out through your nostrils. Taking a moment to check in with the body. We want to be relaxed in body, alert in mind. So make sure your eyes are soft, your jaw loose, your shoulders dropped, your chest open and relaxed, belly soft, back relaxed. And no tension in arms and hands or legs and feet. And if you are holding any tension, you can take another long, slow, deep breath and visualize sending a cushion of air to that area to support it, ease it a bit. Turning your attention now to the neshama in the body, the breath. You might notice how you don't have to do anything. It's effortless. We receive the breath in each moment. Feel it as it enters the nostrils. What do you notice about the breath at the nostrils? Perhaps variations of temperature, fullness and emptiness, tingling. And feeling now the breath in the chest. That rhythmic rising and falling. Again, effortless. And if you're noticing heartbeat, that's all right too. But focus in on the sensations of breath. And now noticing breath in the belly. Again, arising and falling like the chest. One breath at a time in places of stillness. At the top of the inhale and end of the exhale. You can also anchor in Shema, hearing, listening, just tuning in to sounds from the outside, from inside the building, or from within your body. Not searching for them, but just hearing them as they arise and pass. Either can be an anchor, a place of focus, a touch point. When your mind drifts, notice thinking is happening and come back to your touch point of breath or sound. Resting full attention on the neshama or on Shema. Feeling body relax as you focus on the here and now. Notice where your mind is, and if you need to, gently but firmly return it. You are training your muscle of attention. Yom Kippur is a day of reflection on our own relationships with others. There's nothing more important than how we consciously relate to others and our world. When we practice, we do not go to the trauma in our lives or the very, very long time difficult relationships. We start with smaller relationships, irritations, annoyances, and we build up. You might remember the analogy of returning as if you're doing repetitions at the gym. It's the same idea. You would not pick up the 50-pound weight. When you go to the gym, you start with the 3-pound weight, the 5-pound weight, maybe move up to a 10. Same thing when we do these practices. We start with something that is manageable and wait until we have developed and are ready to deal with the heavier weights. So bringing to mind right now a situation that you're struggling with. Again, do not pick something very, very difficult. Bring it fully to mind. It's important that everyone have something to work with as we do this practice. And now I want you to let that go for a moment. And we are going to begin with a moment of nurturance. As you know, the airlines always say, put on your own mask before you try to assist the person next to you, even if the person next to you is your child. We can't be of any use to others until we have taken care of ourselves. So in this moment, I would like you to reflect upon a moment where you felt safe and loved, accepted. Maybe it's with a person or a pet. Or maybe it's a place where you felt so connected with the divine, so authentically who you were in that moment, and felt safe, secure, nurtured. Bring it fully to mind as if it's happening now. Seeing colors, remembering smells, tastes, whatever was present in that experience. And notice how you feel in your body. You might be noticing a warmth or an expansion of your heart. Maybe you're feeling more relaxed. Just notice what you're feeling. The gift of safety and acceptance. As we begin to do the meditation now, this is a place of refuge for you. Should this meditation become difficult, go back to this moment of nurturance, bringing it fully to your awareness, and rest in that. But for those now ready to explore this more challenging relationship, I invite you to let this moment of nurturance rest for a moment on the side. And instead visualize that you are on a magic chair that takes you to the environment where you see this more challenging person. Perhaps they come to you. Visualize them now fully. And notice how your body feels when you're in contact with them. Maybe you're noticing your heart beats faster or a wall goes up. You feel like your heart hardens. Maybe you're feeling a little more tension in your shoulders and neck, or sensations in your hands or head. Everyone is different. Just notice what's real for you when you're with this person who's a little difficult. And now make conscious those thoughts that you have about them. They're so annoying. They're so selfish, mean-spirited. Whatever words are coming, make them conscious. We can only deal with our thoughts when we become fully aware and honest about our thoughts. Then we can work with them. So I invite you now to repeat silently in your mind some words that I'm going to say to you. You might imagine someone you love saying this to you, who loves you, or a whole part of yourself that's saying it to a part of you that is struggling, maybe a bit broken. You are as you are, perfectly imperfect, like everyone else. May you accept yourself fully, just as you are. This relationship or situation is difficult for you. All relationships and situations can become messy. It is normal. Life is messy. You're doing the best you can with this situation, and that's all anyone can do. And now visualizing the other person involved in your situation or relationship. And you will say to him silently or her in your mind, you are who you are, perfectly imperfect, just like me and everyone else. May I accept you just as you are, or may I one day accept you just as you are. And notice how it feels to offer this to the other person. You are doing the best you can, and that's all any of us can do. Your relationships, experiences, upbringing, history, society made you who you are in this moment. You could not be anything or anyone else. We both make mistakes. All humans do. May we forgive ourselves and each other for mistakes. The relationship or situation we have is messy. May I accept it just as it is in this moment, knowing it will change. And now I invite you to look at your kavanah, your intention with this person. In Judaism, intention is key. for we cannot control outcomes. And yet many of us go into relationships and situations with ulterior motives, mixed intentions. Are you trying to be right in this situation? Are you trying to show this person who's boss? Are you trying to show them how wonderful you are and they should like you more? If you have an intention other than connecting and understanding them, truly connecting and understanding them, it's a setup for the relationship not to work. So I'd invite you in this moment to reflect for a moment. What is your real intention here? For some of you, the intention may be to wall your heart from further pain, from further annoyance, frustration. I'd invite you to consider that the other person may continue to chink at your wall, to behave in ways that aren't very skillful to get your attention and to get you to let it down. At our deepest core, all of us want connection and ease. Now I'd like for you to think about needs. Most of us aren't very versed in the language of needs, and yet needs underlie what we say and do and what others say and do. First, notice what you are needing in this relationship. Are you needing ease, space, authenticity, trust, to be heard, to be seen, to be understood, reciprocity, mutuality, communication, acceptance, or something else? See if you can identify what you're needing in this relationship and label it. And if you can't, that's all right too. It takes time to figure these things out. Sometimes it's not so clear up front. And now I'd like you to make a guess about what the other person might be feeling and needing in relationship to you. Are they anxious around you because they too want acceptance? Are they too frustrated over lack of communication or connection, or needing to be heard or seen or understood? Are they needing support? Are they hurt, wanting your acceptance? Of course, we cannot know what the other person's feeling and needing. We don't read minds. But we can guess. Feelings and needs are universal. We all have the same ones. Now I'd invite you to look at your feelings and needs along with what you're guessing the other person feels and needs. Does it soften the way you look at them, the way you look at your relationship? It might or might not. Just notice what's true for you. Now I'd like you to reflect on your original words about this person. They're selfish, they're mean, they're greedy, they're childish, whatever was coming to your mind, whatever judgments. The Baal Shem Tov teaches that the other is a mirror for us. If we really don't have much of what the other has, it doesn't bother us. But usually when things are bothering us about the other, it's because we have it too and don't want to look at it. And they are a mirror. And they will continue to be a mirror for us until we look. You may not have done whatever you're saying the other person is doing in this relationship, but have you done it in your life? Where are you selfish, or have you been selfish in your life? Greedy, childish, self-centered, or whatever words you're noticing in the other. Can you find it in yourself? While I hate to admit this, the truth is I have yet to find in the other something that I can't find in me. Somewhere along these decades of life, I too did it all. We're human, fallible. And again, just notice if this softens the way you look at the other person. Perhaps it does, perhaps it doesn't, perhaps it didn't work for you. That's okay too. Now I'd invite you to see the opposite in the other person. So if you're saying they are selfish, have you ever seen them be giving? Maybe they're generous with their dog, or with their neighbors, or with their spouse, or their children. If they're childish in your mind, have you ever seen them with maturity? What we are doing in this practice and in all these practices is to open to Mochin de Gadlut. Mochin de Gadlut, big mind, moving us out of Mochin de Katnut, small mind. When we see things from a larger perspective, it helps us soften. Rabbi Nachman talked about water dripping on stone. It doesn't happen quickly, but over time, the hardness of the stone begins to let go. It gets worn away, and eventually it might even crack open. These practices are like water on the stones of our heart to help us imagine and see the other people in a bigger light. Finally, I'd like for you to envision how this person also wants a sense of well-being, to be healthy, safe, happy, peaceful, the same things you want in life, and not to have suffering. Can you remember ways that they want this? Their families to thrive, their work to be successful. We have so much more in common than we do the differences. And differences can often be celebrated, not something that we don't want. Differences are what makes life interesting, special, and an adventure. So noticing how you're feeling in this moment. And I invite you to again take some long, slow, deep breaths as you say goodbye to this person. Feeling your body on the chair in this moment, wherever you are. And when you're ready, opening your eyes or raising your gaze. These are practices. They don't instantaneously change our relationships, but over time they can. And I invite you to return to this practice at any time that it was helpful. And if it didn't work for you, that's okay too. No judgment. Don't start thinking you did it wrong, something's wrong with you. No. Maybe you needed to work on more acceptance toward yourself. Often some of us are harsher on self than on others. And you can just notice that. If it's been helpful, I hope you'll join us sometime on Saturday morning at 9:15. There are a group of teachers now rotating, and we would love to have you join us for meditation. And my deepest wish for you is that your relationships find healing, and that this year is a very, very healthy, safe, and happy one. May you be written in the book of life.